Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to make a practice rail or box setup today. Real quick and simple one. I've never made one of these before, so this is my first of this type. I saw Travis at Bladey Union make one of these on the Back to Blading Slack, and also saw somebody on the Reddit had a very similar one as well. So I'm going to give it a go, and you can follow along with me at home, see the mistakes that I might make along the way, and maybe learn how to make one for yourself. Okay, so I'm no woodworking expert, so if you're worried about using power tools or how to cut things, maybe go watch a woodworking channel on YouTube. Okay, so here's the materials you're going to need. You're going to need a 2x10 piece of lumber, 10 foot or more. I've got a 12-foot one. I'm going to have to cut that down because I'm going to make this 10 foot long. Two 2-inch PVC pipes, 10 foot long. Two 2x6s that are 10 foot long, and then some 2x4 as well that it's going to get cut down to make the braces, and also a packet of deck screws. I got 3.5 inch, 1 pound box of 3.5 inch deck screws. I've used a star drive instead of Phillips head, but you can use the Phillips head ones as well. Alright, so let's go through some of the basic equipment you'll need to be able to make this. Firstly, you'll need some sort of a saw because you're going to need to make a few cuts. It can be a hand saw like this if you want. It's not too many cuts to make. It'll help to have some sort of driver in order to drive home those deck screws. You may want to drill pilot holes to do that if you've just got a simple drill like that. So maybe some drill bits, some driver bits as well. Something to mark with and measure with. So of course a tape measure helps you to measure things. Also a straight edge will help. You don't have to have that. Safety equipment, never forget your safety equipment. Some things I'm going to use to make my life a little bit easy. You don't have to use this. I've got an impact driver because that'll really help drive home those deck screws without having to drill any pilot holes. And I'm going to use a circular saw rather than a hand saw just to get through it a little bit quicker. Alright, so my 2x10 is actually a 12 foot length. I'm making this 10 foot. So I'm just going to quickly do a cut in this. Just mark it and just going to cut it across. I'm just going to make the cut the way I know how to. Don't follow exactly what I do necessarily. I may do something dangerous. So be careful out there and make sure you wear your safety gear. Alright, so what I plan to do is put cross braces on the bottom of the 2x10 every 2 feet. So I'm going to mark this off every 2 feet just so I know where I'm going to put them. Then I'm going to cut lengths of 2x4 to screw in to finish it off. So I'll get the measurements and marking done first. Okay, just remember when you buy dimensional lumber, when you buy 2x10, it's not actually 2 inches by 10 inches, it's a little short. Same with the 2x6 and the 2x4. So this one's only about a little over 9 inches wide. So the next step I'm going to do is to cut the 2x4s down to length to make cross braces, but I shouldn't cut them at 10 inches, they've got to be cut more like about 9 inches or so. Alright, so I'm going to just cut 6 cross braces for now. They'll just be a little over 9 inches, just like I showed with the dimensional lumber. It's not actually 10 inches wide, so just make sure you measure it first. And I'm going to cut 6 of these myself. You figure it out for yourself, how many you think you want. Alright, so I've cut my 6 pieces of 4x2 to the width of the 2x10. I'm going to just space these out underneath and just sit them on top of it, and I'm going to screw them in using, in my case, an impact driver and the 3.5 inch deck bolts that are deck screws that I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out just how much I want to set the 2x6 down relative to the top of the 2x10. I want to be able to learn some top sides. I kind of want a little bit of offset so that I can hit those a little bit easier, because, you know, I need all the cheating I can get. Also, less wheel bite if you're doing front sides, royales, whatever. So I'm probably going to set it, I'm not going to set it like really flush. I'm going to set it probably there so that the 2x6 is sitting on that 2x4 brace rather than bringing it up any higher, just so that I can cheat. You can set it whichever way you want. I'm lazy when I skate. I need all the help I can get. It's what I'm doing.
You need to come hold the other end of that.
Nah, she'll be right, mate.
Huh?
Nah, she'll be right, mate.
Clearly you're not, though, because it keeps falling off, like it's about to fall off again.
That's fine. I already picked the screw up. Well, that one missed. Oh, I'm out of breath. Whew. All right, so I flipped it over to the other side. Just going to do the same offset between the 2x10 and the side 2x6. Get all these done in. I'll probably put an extra couple of screws in along the side here, and then move on to putting the PVC pipe on. Whoa, that's backwards. I got two in there that I didn't get right. It's tough enough. I'm going to screw the PVC in to the wood. I'm going to do I'm going to do 4 down and maybe 2 across. You want to minimize the number of holes you put in the PVC, from what I understand. You also want to make the smallest hole possible to get the screw head through. And looking at my drill bit, I think it's roughly 3/8 that I want. I'm going to drill a hole here, and then not go all the way through, obviously. And then I'm going to use that hole to sink that screw through into here, and then just screw straight into a piece of wood. So let's give that a go. How am I going to do this?
I don't know, how are you going to do this? Shouldn't you have thought about this?
Thanks, master of the obvious. Okay, so I just clamp this down, the PVC to the wood. Actually, I'm going to grab a skate. One moment. All right, there you go. So that's with 2-inch. I'm starting to change my mind on the other side. I'm going to put the 2-inch on that side for now. I might actually put 1.5 on the other side at a later date, just because 2 inches kind of, you got to be right on there on your sole. But should be fine there on the Celtics to do a front side. Pretty slick. If I touch down though, wheel bite, Royale. Should be good on a Royale if I ever figure out how to do them again. Slides alright too. Should be fine without any wax. Wrong way. Now, is it going to be long enough to get in there? Hope so. Yep, 3/8 was just right. It's not quite on. This is not quite long enough. So, my really good idea when I bought the deck screws was to use Torx or star heads because they're easier to drive. However, my driver bit is not long enough on my driver to fit through a pilot hole. So I need to use one of these to get in there to finish them off. So my tip is don't use Torx deck screws. Just use standard Phillips head ones. They're a little bit more finicky when you're driving them initially, but at least you can just get a screwdriver in there and just screw them in. I don't normally carry a full range of Torx at home. I've got them at work, but for whatever reason, I don't have them here. All right. I do have some other screws downstairs, so I'm going to go get a different screw so that I don't have to use Torx anymore just for this, just for the PVC. I found that I had some 2.5 inch Phillips head screws downstairs that are for wood to wood, which is just fine. Turns out I can use a smaller bit as well, at least to get these ones in. So I'm gonna use a, what is this, a 5/16 instead of the 3/8 in the drill to drill the holes to go through, and then from there, oh, that's not right. I can at least use a screwdriver to finish them off. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't be smart and go, Torx are great. Stick with good old Phillips heads. That was smart. Alright, I've only put 4 screws into the PVC. I think it seems solid enough. If for some reason when I'm skating it, if it doesn't feel solid, I'll put an extra 1 or 2 here and there. But for now, I'm just going to go with that. Just going to put the ones on the other side and it'll be ready to go. Just going to cheat a little bit. Now cheating a little bit. For the ones on the end, I'm just drilling a little pilot hole at an angle, just so that I can just come in at an angle with the screws, and not even have to put a hole into the PVC. Somebody out there is probably yelling at me on YouTube for the terrible job I'm doing with woodwork, but that's just me. Alright, I'm going to put 2 more, just put 2 more screws in this side, in the middle somewhere, and that's it, it's ready as far as I'm concerned. ready to roll. Well, it's finished, so I'm going to try it, but I'm kind of feeling tired, so I don't know how much I'll be able to do. Not that I'm very good at this stuff anyway, so let's give it a go. Feels all right. Might need a little wax. It's fine on, it's very slippery on the frame though, so it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a scenario. Yeah, it's real slick. I'm gonna have to get used to that. Well, that was fun. Well, that was kind of a backslide. It's real fast on my frame, but it's not so much on my boot, so. I don't know if I'm ever, I don't know if I get used to this. Ooh, that's nice. If you go fast enough on the sole, it doesn't need wax. At least not one of my thems. Alright, well, that's enough of that. I'm kind of tired. But at least I got a little practice box now. I can work on stuff. We'll figure it out. Needs a little bit speed just to attack it. Certainly not for the faint-hearted. So yeah, thanks to Travis at Blady Union for showing us his, and the person on Reddit, I don't remember his name, for showing his. And thanks for all the encouragement from the Back to Blading Slack people out there. Time to get practicing. Get clip into the Back to Blading community challenge for this month, which is stay at home. And now I can stay at home. It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah!